Good. All right, everyone. Welcome to our pitch competition here today. We are going live on YouTube right now for our live stream. I'm Mark Maddock. I'm manager of Southern Colorado Innovation Link, and I have the pleasure of getting to work with everybody here, getting to help organize this pitch competition. This is the third year we've had the opportunity to run this pitch competition along with the Sun, Soil, Water Ag Summit. As we get started here, I just want to do a couple of call outs. It's a small room in here, and we have a boom mic, so anybody online should be able to hear some of the other intros that we do. But I just first want to call out Megan Moore and Serena Sackle, who are both program managers with the Pueblo Food Project and have probably lost some sleep helping organize this weekend's event. So Megan and Serena, if you can just give a quick intro.
Yeah, we'll move up here so that
there we go.
Live. Yeah. Hi everybody, I'm Megan. I've been with the Food Project for about 3 years, but I've been full-time for a year. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited for the pitch competition. This is our second iteration of Sun, Soil, Water as it is now, with the pitch competition and the conference and the awards. So we're very excited to share this with you. We hope you get involved in the food system a little bit more. If you're not already a huge integral part of it, you can become an even bigger part. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the pitches, and thanks to Mark and his team and Christina and Sage for just doing some incredible work to make this happen today, because we didn't have to worry about this part. So
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Serena. I'm new to Pueblo. I moved here from Florida last summer, and I joined the Pueblo Food Project as a full-time staff member in January. So this is my first time being a part of this event, but I've been loving Pueblo and grateful to be a part of this community, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this event.
And next up, we have Christina, the coordinator for Skill, as well as a small business owner and the glue between a ton of different programs and organizations here in Pueblo. Christina, do you want to say something about yourself?
No, but congratulations already. I don't really want to talk about myself. I do that all day. But thank you everybody who showed up today, and also congratulations to all of the competitors. I know how much work you put in, and we really appreciate you doing all of the pitch preparation with us and the pitch deck conversations. So I'm really excited to see the outcome. I know most of you now, and yeah, thanks for the judges for being here as well.
And Christina has an intern as of this week.
I'm Caitlin Cozzolino. I'm her neighbor, so that's how I met her. But I'm her intern, and so I'm just learning more about the marketing world. So it's nice to be here, and good luck to all of you.
Cool, thank you. We also have Sarah Rhodes from CSU.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Sarah. I am the entrepreneurship business resident for the Institute for Entrepreneurship. I went to CSU Fort Collins, which is housed in the College of Business. And I've been working on a grant with these lovely people for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. So it's an honor to be here. We get to see some people who have taken our programs in the past. So good luck to everybody. We're so excited to see you guys pitch.
And the man behind the curtain, I like to think of him as the Wizard of Oz of AV and tech in Southern Colorado. It's Sage Goodwin. So Sage, as you can see, has a very simple setup here. There's only 2 or 3 cameras, a couple monitors, a projector, and a live stream to manage. So thank you again, Sage, for helping manage this today. So as we get started, the format here today is pretty simple. We have 4 companies competing, and we have 5 judges. So we'll introduce the judges, and then we'll get into the pitches. But we have $4,500 of cash prizes here to award today, and we have another $12,000 to $15,000 of in-kind support through our partners and resources in the community, and we'll get to talk about that a little bit later. But I know we've already worked with a lot of the competitors individually and one-on-one, and with our Small Business Development Center, as well as Skill and Community Navigator through the Southern Colorado Economic Development District. So as you can see on the sheet, we have the run of show, We have the competitors' names and a little bit about their business. We also have the judges' names and a short bio about them. So I'd like to turn it over to the judges to just introduce themselves and say a quick word or two. I'll start with JoJo.
Hi everyone, my name's Jolene, but most people know me as JoJo by way of JoJo Sriracha. I came to Pueblo to source chilies for my small batch Sriracha product. And I'm also the teaching assistant for the Pueblo Food Project's Entrepreneur Development Program by way of my background in communication and curriculum development. And I'm also starting a new project with Fuel and Iron on their fuel kitchens construction so that we can have a very proper, awesome commissary kitchen right here in Pueblo.
Awesome, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Lydia Christensen. I am the statewide food and ag specialist with Colorado State Extension. As part of the rural initiative, trying to reach out and engage more rural communities. In addition to that day job, me and my husband also own and operate a distillery in Steamboat Springs called Route Distillery. And so I have a huge amount of respect and appreciation for your willingness to put yourselves out there and share your ideas with others.
My name's Brandon Hernandez. Libby picked me up off the side of the road on the way here. So, no, I'm one of the co-founders of Full Brand Consulting. We do outsourced supply chain QA, private equity due diligence. I'm also board chair of Naturally Boulder, as well as sponsorship chair of the Naturally Network. And congratulations to you all for making this far, and I look forward to seeing the pitches.
Hey, my name's Corey Finney. I'm a co-founder and partner with the Greater Colorado Venture Fund. Just closed Fund 2. It's a $25 million fund that invests in growth companies across rural Colorado. So excited to see the businesses here today.
Hi there, my name is Christine Root, and I've been an advocate and supporter of local food systems for about 20 years, and that's taken shape in a lot of different ways. I currently own a branding agency that does branding for good food companies. And in my side life, I serve on the board for Colorado Food Works and Slow Food Denver. Excited to support you guys.
So thank you to our judges again for being here. Everybody except for JoJo has traveled down here and taken their day or a few days to actually join us and help out. I'd next like to give a shout out to our sponsors who have made this event possible today. That's the Colorado Department of Agriculture, Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, and Brylac Law. And Brylac Law actually has offices in San Antonio, Colorado Springs, and Pueblo. All of the money that they put in sponsorship goes directly to those cash prizes we mentioned, and those cash prizes will be split up at the end based on the scoring that you do on your rubric. I know that we have 4 companies participating, so I think your guys' odds are pretty good winning something today, but we'll see. And without further ado, we'll get into the first pitch here. When the presenters come up, we are going to have an air clicker, which is going to be your finger pointed at Sage, to screen over to the next slide so that our slides and everything works out well on the live stream. So first up is Shay with Kalea Qualls, and I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much for having me. Again, my name is Kalea Qualls, the founder and CEO of Shay. Food for thought. Time and health are 2 precious assets that we don't recognize until they have been depleted. You need to think and meditate on that for a minute. So the vision of Shay is to provide healthy eating at an affordable price to everyone. The outcome of Shay is for people to live happy, healed, whole lives, one step at a time. What we put into our bodies matters. In the King James Version, it says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers." 3 John 2. So with Shay, we are a meal prep, pre-revenue, delivery service, catering to your every needs. S for specialized, because we cater to you. Whether you're a vegan, vegetarian, or meat lover, there is something for Shea. There is something for everyone here at Shea. H for healthy, because we all are on a health journey of our own. E for eats, because who doesn't like a great meal? So with that being said, we sell direct to consumer as well as online also. The prices vary anywhere between $2 to $15, depending on what you get. So if you're gonna grab a smoothie, that could be $6 or $7. You might grab macaroni and cheese, 7 or 8. Our buffalo barbecue collie wings, it just all depends. It's the Shea way. So, scientifically speaking, it is in the minority area, our Black and brown community, as well as our Latinos and Latinas that suffer from high blood pressure as well as diabetes. And again, I want to be able to break that cycle. There's nothing like the Shea way, offering healthy eating at an affordable cost. My father, I'm originally from Boston, when my father had gotten sick and he has diabetes, I flew home back to Boston to care for him. I began to make meals specifically to help him reach his weight loss as well as his sugar levels. And then I noticed that the more I kept doing it and the work that he put in, he saw better results. It's the Shea way. Again, we cater to vegans, vegetarians, as well as to meat lovers, to diabetics, as well as to athletes. There's something for everyone here at Shea. But again, it's through an affordable cost. A lot of people that I've spoken with, they always tell me, I would eat healthy if it was more affordable. And I want to be able to break that cycle today. This is a picture of my lovely father. So we know, right, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So change does not always happen overnight. The goal, and again, the outcome of Shea is to meet people where they are at. Meet them and help them get to where they want to be. The Shea way. So this is my beautiful mother. The picture in the middle, again, is a before and after. You can see both pictures on the right and the left, her weight loss. And again, my mother is on a journey of her own, but she changed her eating habits using some of the meals that I have given her and some of the things that she has done to take care of her body. Specialized Healthy Eats the Shea way. You may ask, what is it that Shea is going to do for the community? Well, one, we are locally owned and also Black owned. Okay. Number two, we want to reach out to the younger students. We offer discounts to religious leaders, to community activists, to first responders. We believe that word of mouth is going to be amazing and big for Shea. The more people that hear about Shea and the fact that we'll offer 10% off of every single item is a plus for us. Now, my competitor, MyFitFood, cannot always say that. You have to be subscribed to them in order to get 20% off of just a meal. So again, we offer healthy eating at an affordable cost, reaching out to the hospitals. I also pace for the state of Colorado and back home in the East Coast, and reaching out to those people to see exactly what they want to see and have prepared for them in their meals. My next step in progress is I'm currently right now taking classes through Mikasa Vladasetia. And also I've completed a few courses with CSU, currently about to enter into the Venture Validator 2.0 right now in order to grow and get Shea where we need to be. The goal is for Shea to launch at in August of 2023. So in my close, I want to say thank you so very much. It's the Shea way or the highway. Everything is made from scratch, and thank you so very much. There's nothing that beats this Shea way. Specialized Healthy Eats. Thank you so very much. And in my ask, I ask that if I'm giving any of this money, that I would be able to connect and have partners that I can connect with. Also help me with my branding and marketing and just getting the word out for Shea. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also brought samples. Thank you. For everyone. I apologize. The plates in the car. So here we have the Shea original collie wings. The one in the middle is sweet and spicy, but no sugar. And the one to your left is the sweet and spicy. And then also the Shea sauce as well as ranch sauce. Yes, thank you all. And then in the middle is Shea's chocolate chip cookies. The cookies in the front are just chocolate chips. The main ingredient is chickpeas. The ones in the back have walnuts in them. And then this is our zucchini waffles. Just has dates, zucchinis, and organic agave. So, I mean, if you guys, do I pass them?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everyone wants to. Okay, so feel free to try this agave sauce. And I apologize for the plates at home.
Make it work.
Yeah, okay. Perfect, yeah. And I'll just, everyone can just. And I have, you put it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are 2 picks also for the.
And then when you guys have a chance to bite in, we'll have 10 minutes for Q&A.
And what is the drink?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry, thank you. So this is a brand called, hope I pronounced it correct, Calypso. This is their strawberry lemonade, no sugar. This is one of the drink items that I would like to sell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about the napkins. The sweetener in the cookies is agave. Sorry to that.
Oh, hair, sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I really don't think I can hammer all those right now.
I'm up for a challenge. That's weird.
Cauliflower? Not a good take tail.
No.
So are you focusing just on Denver to start, or where?
Currently, yes. So currently, right now, yes. I am a full-time teacher. So I would like to hopefully start in August of this year. I've been trying to perfect my craft and ingredients. And I also have been just trying to learn as much as I can through different courses and get feedback from the communities. So I've been going to different gyms and talking to the staff there, have allowed me to speak with them and asking questions as to what their meal prep and plan looks like. I never like to use the word like diet, only because that just, sometimes it turns people off, and again, everyone has their own health journey. But I feel like when it's specialized and it's catered to their need, then they're more willing and up to trying.
Cool. So part of, I worked with Chefton with Blue Apron. Part of their model where they fell down was one, the food waste aspect of what can happen, especially in fresh goods. Have you thought about how you're going to control your supply chain to not have that effect? I'm assuming that the consumer is going to get it and have to do some prep themselves, correct?
So I thank you for that excellent question. I don't have all the answers, but what I can say is that at Shea we do make everything fresh. So everything that you're looking at was made fresh, like I see, it was made fresh, and I had my warmers. I also believe in using the same ingredients in a few things. So like with our smoothies relate back to our salads, and also with our like zucchini waffles, we have zucchini noodles that we make, and then also we use those same zucchinis for our zucchini waffles in hopes that more food won't be wasted. So I've thought it through a bit, and again, I'm ever learning and growing.
One small follow-up, how many SKUs do you plan to launch with?
Do you mean by like how many?
So how many individual items do you plan to offer in your first?
Okay, so right now, the goal is 5, and so what will happen is every week, the menu items will change, and they'll have a list of 5 items, 5 to 7 items that they can choose from, and then they need to at least purchase $25 or more of those specific
Thank
That's-
you.
Is your goal to have a centralized production facility and then deliver sort of around a perimeter, or to have multiple facilities to expand that, or a mix of both?
I'm still trying to work that out. So the goal eventually is to have a brick and mortar. My business advisor, who has a brick and mortar, he advised me not to go that route, so I don't want to get in debt. So for right now, the goal is to finish my courses and then get a commissary kitchen and be able to make those meals. And then so people can order from like a Monday through Thursday for 5 to 7 items that they're gonna pick from, and then from there, deliver it like Saturday, Sunday for the week.
Have you considered doing some sort of an intake process with new clients when they join the program, so you get to know where they're at and what their goals are? Maybe to give them some incentive to keep going and watch their progress as they participate.
I actually just started that with one of my coworkers. She told me that she wants to lose weight, and so but she has a membership at the gym. So we came up with, we're actually starting the last week of this month. So I've been preparing her meals to get her feedback to see, if she likes them and everything like that. She did express to me, like, I know about healthy foods, I just need assistance putting the stuff together. But I'm still trying to grow my margins from there and speak with other people. Yes.
With respect to your, you said that you want to go after an influencer subset, like pastors, things like that. And how do you plan to stage gate that so that I don't go on to the website and say, hey, I'm a 10% discount because and I make something up. How you plan to stage gate that process for yourself or vetting?
So, excellent question. Whether you're a student or a first responder, whether you're a religious leader, you will have to show some documentation. If you're a senior citizen, you'll just show your photo ID and everything. But again, the goal for Shea is to have everything priced at an affordable cost, so that way people feel welcomed and feel needed. And then at the same time, my hope and my goal is to be able to meet, at least have like a monthly meeting with the community, getting flyers out to see what else is it that we can be bringing to the table that they want to see. Because in all actuality, to me, it's all about them to begin with. So again, I know for my pastor, he has good relationships with the mayor in Denver. But personally, for my business, for Shea, getting out there, word of mouth, going door to door, sending emails.
One thing you may want to consider beyond just food is beyond just preparing and delivering food is building an online community. Because it's like, I live in Durango, I'm like, this food's really good. I'd love to get the recipes, and I'd probably pay X dollars a month just to have access to the library of recipes to see what you're making. So something to think about.
Thank you.
Well, and I wonder how you see finding the right balance between quantity versus quality. It sounds like a lot of the connection that you're hoping to make with people would be really time consuming, but you're also talking about a low price point, and so I'm just curious how you are planning on kind of finding that balance between really deep, meaningful connections with people and making a lot of food for everyone.
Excellent question. Personally, for me, it's all about trust. And so I've tried my best to scope out my competitors to see what their pricing items at, and then also to see, okay, what is it that Shea is bringing to the table, and how can we make that more affordable, so that way our Black and brown communities can feel welcomed eating at a healthy place, shopping at Whole Foods. I don't have all of the nicks and crannies all together, but that's something that I am yet still working on, if I'm being honest with you. But yes.
I do have one question as it relates to the brand proposition that you brought up a couple times, the Black and brown minority groups that would benefit from this, but then your pitch deck says it's for everybody. Are you planning to segment those from one another? Are you planning to go after one subset of group and then the other, or how do you plan to approach that?
I'm going after everyone. I'm going after diabetics, I've been in communication with St. Luke Presbyterian Hospital in Denver. I've met with the VP, who is Chris Dunbar. I'm going after athletes. As a pacer, I'm able to talk to the race directors, communicate to some of the athletes, not all of them, but I'm going after any and everyone who is willing and wanting to change their lifestyle.
I think we have time for one more question.
Have you found that there's a stigma around healthy eating in these communities? And is that something that's on your mind in terms of like how you're talking about foods that taste good but are healthy for you, and how like approachable that is for your customer?
Yeah, so taking the race part out of it, a lot of people that I've met with and spoke with always tell me I would eat healthy if it was more affordable. What I've seen and what I've noticed and what scientifically has been proven in the document that I pulled up, and that's from the University of Oxford, it is the minority businesses, minority people of color and Latinas and Latinos who have a high rate of diabetes. So I want to be able to bridge and close that gap up.
So just quick follow. So you're finding that it's actually not a stigma around healthy eating, but really just around the affordability piece and access to healthy foods.
Yeah, and I believe it's both. I believe it's both.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time.
How are we doing on the live stream stage?
Should be good.
Cool. So we're going to give the judges another minute here to work on their scoring. And I don't know, does anybody have a fun fact? Any good icebreakers, jokes? Anybody heard this week? Any good dad or mom jokes?
That's all you, Mark.
Well, I had this uncle, great uncle, and he was a war hero. He fought valiantly and died in the Battle of Gettysburg. Not as well as I expected it to go.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
I'm not sure.
One is really heavy. The other is a little lighter.
That was much better.
We're going to the right.
You're so speedy.
Abe, if you're ready, you can start heading over here. Good. All right, I'll turn it over to Abe Rosenberg.
Hello everyone, my name's Abram Rosenberg. A lot of people call me Abe, and I'm so thrilled to share with you today our project for La Tiendita, where we are reinventing the local foods game in Alamosa, Colorado with a healthy food corner store. First, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a program director for the SLV Local Foods Coalition, which is a nonprofit organization in the San Luis Valley, and I've got 12 years experience working in the local food network. I also have a passion for local foods. I'm a farmer, and so I think it's really important for us to support our local agriculture, and I've got an equity mindset because I grew up on food stamps, and now we call it SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and I believe it's important for everyone to have access to healthy local food, no matter their income or location. And I'm also data informed, so with my position, we've done a lot of surveys and information gathering over the last 5 to 10 years, and so a lot of what I'm going to share with you today is supported with data that we've collected. And I have lived experience. I've been a delivery driver for a local food aggregator. I've been a bulk foods manager for a local co-op and a chef in our food truck. And so I'm really excited to share this project with you all today. So the project is with the SLV Local Foods Coalition for a healthy food corner store called La Tiendita. It's going to be a commissary kitchen, a local food retail store, and a food rescue project. Some of the problems that we seek to address with this project is food waste. So 30 to 40% of food in the United States ends up in the garbage, and so we are going to address that in our community. We're also working on food access, and so we're creating a space where people can have a grocery store in their community where there is none. There's limited access. There is no SNAP or Double Up food bucks access in this community, and the supermarkets are far away. So if you don't have transportation, you're kind of screwed, unfortunately, because you need to get a ride or you need to walk a really long distance in order to access food at all. Finally, we've got a high demand for local foods, which isn't necessarily a problem, but we need to build our capacity in order to meet that demand. So here's our solution, the Healthy Food Corner Store, La Tiendita. And so we're going to create food access with prepared foods. There's going to be an education space within there as well. We're going to have a food rescue initiative because we're connecting with a pantry that is adjacent within the same building. So this is no space for food waste. Now, let's talk a little bit about our business model. So we're a food truck business, the Moki food truck. Moki stands for Mobile Kitchen. And so we're expanding this business currently with value-added products, doing food preservation, expanding into the local food retail. We're also doing the food rescue, community education we've done for a long time with the nonprofit. And we're going to open up this kitchen when we're not using it to other business owners so that they can start making prepared foods and support the entire community as well. And we're coming from a nonprofit and going into a B corporation for public benefit. And so that's where we are, and that's where we hope to be in the future. Our customer base and our target audience here is going to be focused specifically on SNAP recipients within this community. So in the center of this map, the red dot, that's going to be our location. We have 3 green regions around that. Those are areas that don't have access to a grocery store, low-income housing. There's also a homeless shelter, a homeless encampment, all within walking distance from this location. We also are going to attract local food buyers from the entire region because there's no business like this in the area. The closest similar business is a 40-minute away radius. We also have some attractions here in the blue circles. So there's outdoor recreation initiative where they want this to be a staging point. Then we have Alamosa Recreation, the airport. Our competitors up here in the red, we've got a Family Dollar and a Safeway. And if you live on this side of the tracks, essentially, there's a railroad that goes through here. If you live on the south side of the tracks, it's going to be really far to get to any of our competitors. So this is going to be an ideal location, and we'll have a diverse community supporting this project. The other players we've got are the staff, of course, from the Moki Food Truck. So they're going to be getting this project off the ground. They're going to be supported by our entire nonprofit organization. We also have our partners, our sister programs within that, the Rio Grande Farm Park, who's going to supply us with food. We have the Valley Roots Food Hub, which is a regional distributor and aggregator. We've got ARM-SCR, who's giving us a free space to operate. Los Promotores del Valle San Luis, they are operating the food pantry, and a whole bunch of other amazing community partners. So we are seeking startup funds so we can get this project off the ground as soon as possible. We're looking at opening in the next year. We also would love mentorship going into the B Corporation status. We would love some support so that we can make that transition smooth. And then also partnerships and investments, we would love to hear about that as well. So thank you all so much for your time. Really appreciate you all listening to me on how we can start La Tiendita, a healthy food corner store in Alamosa. Awesome. And I've got these little baskets for you guys to take home. Just a little sample of what we'll have to offer. Some of it is made in the food truck. We also have some material for you all to check out if you want to look at it further. And then, you know, if you got kids or, you know, someone who wants an Easter basket later, you can always utilize that.
You're stopping me from having to go to a Target later.
All right, awesome.
I see what you did there. Thank you.
Oh, and my team forgot. I forgot to mention that the cookies are gluten-free. So if anyone here is gluten-free, there's some gluten-free items in there. Yeah, totally.
I just had a question in relation to the map.
Yeah.
Where were you in the map with all the circles and everything? Where's the
right in the center. It's a little hard to see on the slide, unfortunately, but yeah, there's a red icon pulled from Google Maps, basically, right in the center of the map.
Got it. Okay.
Love that you're doing this. I mean, it's obviously a huge need for that region. Spent plenty of time in the valley there, so good on you for doing this first and foremost. I'm curious about like startup costs. I didn't really get a feel for what do you need, how expensive is this going to be, how are you funding it, what's the gap?
Definitely. So we have applied for some grants. There's the Colorado Fresh Food Finance Fund that we put in for, so we're waiting to see if that's going to help us out too. If we do receive that, that's going to help us put in the necessary improvements to make the kitchen commercially certifiable. It's an already really beautiful existing kitchen. It just needs a few things. So I believe we requested between $40,000 and $50,000 to get a hood vent fan, some sinks, and a few other things. We're also working on a remodel project next week with volunteers. So we're getting things going with what we can right now. I think all in all, if we receive this grant, we'll be on a good track to open by next year. However, we also are taking on utility payments this year, and so that's going to range anywhere from $400 to $800 a month that we're going to have to start putting in starting this month.
And so what's the, I guess, total that you think you might need? Is that 40, 50,000?
Yeah, I think if we could go even a little bit higher, that would be wonderful to have a little bit of wiggle room there. I think if we get around total with everything that we're looking at about $8,000, that'll set us up so we can open in the near future and not have to put it off later and later.
Cool. In your model, in what you're trying to stand up, first of all, I applaud you for doing it. But how is it differentiated versus, say, me going to a Safeway versus me going to the store that you're trying to stand up? Like, how? I understand you're addressing bringing it closer to my front door, but how does that address that accessibility part to it, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here's the thing with going to Safeway. If you are a SNAP recipient, for example, who's our target audience, they're not going to have a lot of local produce that you can buy there. You might be able to get stuff from the store, of course, but how is that supporting our local economy, our local agriculture? That's what this is going to be different. We have the Rio Grande Farm Park, who is within a 1.5-mile radius, who's going to be supplying this store. We have farmers who've agreed to sell in the store who are in that community. So it's about creating a space where you get to know your farmer who lives within a couple miles of you, and it gives the farmer an opportunity to sell their stuff, even if they're a small-scale business, without having to really upscale in order to sell at a place like Safeway. So that's the biggest difference for me, aside from just the location.
What kind of challenges do you foresee doing the transition from nonprofit to B Corp?
I think the biggest challenges is just like getting all those little details in place, making sure that we're set up to receive SNAP, and so that we can have all of our licenses and everything set up so that we're functioning smoothly. Also, understanding that relationship that we have between the nonprofit is another thing that I see as a potential challenge. But I think that if we just illustrate it well, come up with a really good narrative to share with our board of directors and our community board, I think we'll be able to pull it off.
Does Moki primarily use volunteer labor, or is it paid employees?
It's paid employees.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all actually here. We've got our food truck manager, our baking specialist, and our future retail manager hanging out with us today. And you can check out some of our stuff at the Makers Market tomorrow if you'll be around.
So I'm just trying to kind of picture the physical space. So is it the food truck you said next to a pantry?
So it's basically one building that's cut down the middle, with a kitchen on one side and a cooler and pantry space on the other side. We also have a walk-in cooler with doors that people can open from the outside. Customers will be able to access that. And so they're operating the pantry on the south side of the building. We're operating the food retail on the north side of the building. And there's a little hallway connecting the two sides. And so the idea here is that we're going to be able to have we already have an amazing partnership with the people who are running the pantry and the people who own the building. And so through that, we're going to be able to have a system in place where we can make sure that food, before it's going bad, is going to the pantry. And if the pantry has food, specifically produce, sometimes those are things that they get in large amounts, and then they end up throwing food out. And so that gives us an opportunity also to turn that into a prepared food or a preservation process.
Is your plan in the winter months then to provide preserved produce, or do you have access to other growers that can sustain you year-round?
That's a great question. So we have within our sister programs the Valley Roots Food Hub, which is a regional local food aggregator and distributor. And so they're going to help us connect with farmers throughout the region to make sure that we always have fresh produce in there. You'll see in your baskets we got a few things that were just in our personal pantry from stuff that we've gotten from them recently. There's apples, there's potatoes, some onions. The onions were grown within half a mile from our location. And so, yeah, we're going to be able to get produce year-round, and the food preservation thing is more about how can we take the bounty that we have in the summertime and make it last a little bit longer.
Have you heard of Revision in Denver?
I don't think so.
You might want to check them out. It makes me kind of think of one of the things that they're doing is working with their community to educate them on backyard gardening, and then giving opportunities for those backyard gardeners to sell produce and from their gardens and earn revenue on it. You're talking about kind of these micro scales of people being able to do things and sell it at an outlet where they don't need high volumes.
That's
that
great.
might mobilize opportunity.
Yeah, I would love to talk with them. And it sounds very similar to what they're doing at the Rio Grande Farm Park too. They have a junior or an incubator farmer program. And so it's a space where people who don't have land yet that can grow on that property to create a food business.
This is super, super well done. I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of the financial story in the actual slide, the presentation.
Okay,
Because
great.
it just would help me get more familiar with like the business and where you're going. But if you send me this in a PDF, I have a whole list of foundations I can introduce you to.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
I do have one. Are there any future plans, just given what you're doing here and sort of the direction you're headed? Is there an opportunity there, or maybe future thinking about having a composting station where maybe people that want to do the smaller scale have an opportunity that would, again, reducing food waste, but also you become that tether for that local subset that may be able, maybe you teach a kid to be a farmer one day, and 10 years from now they're a supplier to you. Is that something like education and things that you may do, or?
Absolutely, yeah, and we're already doing a little bit of that with our community partnerships. So again, with the Rio Grande Farm Park, they're so amazing to work with. And they have, similar to the Incubator Farmer program, they have a Rising Stewards program where youth are going to have that same kind of experience. And they have an amazing composting site on that property. And then we're also already collecting some of that food waste because the pantry's already open. And so we've been working with them to collect what they're going through and making sure that it ends up in the hands of farmers right now.
We have time for one last question or comment.
I guess I have one more question if nobody else has.
Go for it.
I do have one more question. With respect to, so I see a lot, we're talking a lot about agriculture from farms. What about deficiency in protein, whether that's animal protein, or how do you plan, is that going to be addressed in the business model, or?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that protein is an important thing, and what we found, especially during COVID, right, we really got a lot of information from that experience. With the Food Hub specifically, the Valley Roots Food Hub, they really became an amazing resource when there were shortages of protein on the major grocery stores. We still had tons of local ranchers who were able to supply them, and so their sales increased enormously during COVID when people were having a hard time accessing that protein. So they'll be an amazing source for meats. They also have some fish farms that they're working with. There's also a plant-based protein person who just joined that network. They're making seitan and tempeh. And those are also things that we love to make in the Moki food truck. And so we love doing a lot of vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free items there.
Are you guys handing these out or selling them? What's the...
Yeah, we have, those are for you all to keep. We're going to have some more at the Makers Market. And we're actually working on putting out another edition probably next year with some new recipes.
Cool, you've done a great job. Really impressive, helpful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abe. For anybody on the live stream, we're just giving the judges some additional time here to work on their score sheets. ask questions. Let me pay for it.
Our gift 2 years ago was JoJo Sriracha. 2 years ago, we gave everybody in our family your Sriracha for Christmas.
I was wondering if you still
Yeah.
here, and then you like emailed me like the next morning.
Yep.
Are you guys feeling good about the timing on everything? Cool. All right. Just want to make sure I'm not rushing anyone or anything. Are we all good on scores? Cool. All right, everyone. We are already halfway through. This is a ton of fun. I think everybody's enjoying the room. I know there's some snacks going around right now, courtesy of our first presenter. So I'd like to welcome up Shantae and turn over the mic to her for the third presentation.
Howdy y'all, I'm Farmer Shantae, nice to meet you all. I'm excited to chat with all of you about who we are at Grassroots Farmers. And before I get started, I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being here. What originally started off as a passion project has grown into a full-fledged business. Slow Food Summit in 2021 started my seed journey here. So I have just a love for seeds and food. So I'm with Grassroots Farmers, farm chief, operator, founder, owner, and property manager. Click. Thank you. So what we're all about, there's simply not enough farmers farming. We're all about actually, I think you missed a slide. Okay, never mind, it's on the next one. Thank you. We're all about collaborative farming for our communities. So there's something magical that happens when we all come together and get our hands in the dirt. We're not just healing ourselves and healing the soil, we're also healing our relationships with one another, as well as healing our communities. So that's what we're all about here at Grassroots Farmers, is bringing our communities together, making dense nutrient food that's local on a hyper-local community level, and bridging the connection to people in the land. And then a little bit about myself. I published 4 children's books. I have 1 memoir and health book in the making. I've been featured on Rocky Mountain PBS twice, as well as featured as a solo expert on the local radio station. And my biggest accomplishment so far is I've been urban farming in the Denver area for over 3 seasons on 1.25 acres, and we produced over 23,000 pounds of food on that property. To put that into perspective, we've grown on average an acre is about 10,000 pounds. So we were able to double our production with that soil health. And then I do want to pass this out in the beginning here. So it all starts with like a little seed and a little bud. So I want to pass this out so everyone gets a little children's book, as well as some seeds to grow at home. Now is the perfect time to get those little babies in the ground. I'm looking forward to fostering new relationships and cultivating new partnerships, sponsorships with everyone. That's all right. But I can have an extra children's book if you like one. Click. Let me get a moment. Alright, our business model is wholesale, so we have an array of products that we will be starting up this season. We'll do bee pollen, honey, lavender, pasteurized raised eggs, meat, birds, rabbit, lamb, pork, goat products, and fruit and vegetables. I've secured 3 strategic partnerships for wholesales ready to distribute our food. So they're chopping at the bits and they're ready to sell our food this 2023 season. So East Denver Food Hub, Waves of Grain, and Pine Melon. I'm now getting plugged into the Pueblo and Southern Colorado network as well. And it would so seem that I have some wonderful opportunities to extend partnerships and provide food for our other participants here. Click. Current traction, I'm working with an array of different partners and affiliates. Got a lot going on. Didn't include everyone on here, but I'll talk about a few. We are working with the Wild Ones to propagate native plants on the property. So, fun fact about native plants is their taproots can go over 12 feet deep. That's equivalent to a rainforest. So we're bringing up all the nutrients, all the microbes down underneath the earth and raising that up to the surface so that when we build out our beds, next season we'll be ready to plant. We're working with veterans to farmers to provide land access opportunities and farm mentorship, education with the communities. We're building on-site farming, housing, and lodging. We're also working with Uproot Colorado to also bridge communities where their food comes from. Working with CSU's extension program with the Soil Web, bringing in students so they're able to get their hands in the dirt and start doing their projects. In April through June, we'll be doing another fundraiser with Beyond the Mat. Oh no, really? Okay, click. All right, where we are now, we're breaking ground in 2023 and we're building 2 structures. Mentioned the transplants of the propagation and building chicken tractors. Click. Where we're going, we're branching off into our 35-acre property. We'll be extending our chicken and rabbit productions, growing our flocks for goats, sheep, and pork, as well as doing over 42 grains of wheat and other varieties of grains that we're working with Mossa Seed Foundation right now on the property. And then my 2 asks today is all the cash prizes that we receive, we'll be immediately investing into our farm equipment, and I'm asking for mentorship and strategic partners. Thank you so much again for your time and consideration and your presence. I'm here to answer any and all questions that you have. How may I better serve you?
And I told Sage too, if there's any questions or comments that are in your appendix, just click over to him.
Okay, yeah.
So are those leaves where you're going to be opening your facilities?
Correct, yes. Those are our 2 locations. So we have 6 acres in Fountain,
Okay.
and then 35 acres east of Pueblo.
And then you've been doing this in Denver already, and you're going to be sold out for the
Correct. So I've been doing proof of concept for 3 seasons in Denver on 1.25 acres, doubling our food production, and then branching off onto a 6-acre property.
Cool. And then the food, what's the radius that you're going to be selling it in?
Ideally, I would like to keep it in Pueblo and Colorado Springs. I'm still getting plugged into the network because most of my farm network is in the Denver area just because I've been so plugged in with Mile High Farmers and quite a few other people there. Though I'm learning about Browns Greens, Food to Power, Pueblo Food. So I would love to chat more with the local people in the room to see what ways we can partner together and get food to people.
Cool. And how have you sold the product so far, or how have you gotten it out to the community?
Prior to
Yeah, in the Denver area.
Right. I've been working with nonprofit farms.
Okay.
So everything was donated to local food banks. We did CSA models, we did WIC shares, we did SNAP as well.
And is that the model going forward, or are you going to branch into for-profit sales?
For-profit, doing wholesale. We're also been certified to receive SNAP. So I want to work with other local nonprofit organizations where we can take our excess food and also get back to the community.
I noticed vegetable shares on one of your slides. Do you plan on having like a CSA type of model or share model for the Pueblo region?
So it'll be wholesale, and we would be applying for WIC, as well as if they were be CSAs, I would want to work with another nonprofit organization to see how many CSAs we would need so that we can plan that into our crop plan.
Got it.
Yeah, it helps with numbers and planting things out.
Yeah. And how are you doing your meat processing?
I've submitted my application for a naturally grown certification. So it's exactly similar to USDA organic certified. So they follow the same guidelines, it's just more on a hyper-local scale and level.
What's your long-term vision now that you've left the incubator stage and we're starting to proliferate a little bit here? Obviously the money you're asking for and the connections, what's your long-term vision for grassroots farmers?
Great. Are you referring to just the 6 acre and 35 acre, or like far?
I'm saying we run across you again in 5-10 years. What is
Excellent.
it?
Definitely having these 2 properties up and going sustainably, closed loop system, bringing in food waste from the communities, having compost on site. We'll love to get in on that compost over there as well. And then I'm also the landowner that I've secured for where we're growing. He's making an incubator where there's a bunch of open land opportunities where people own land and they want farmers to lease the land. So I'm doing proof of concept on his property, and then he's going to link me up to other landowners. So we'll be creating essentially national farms all over for organic, sustainable, regenerative agriculture.
Now, those certified. So the land you've got there is all certified organic already, or that's what you're working towards?
They haven't been worked yet, so we are starting this first year in April.
Okay.
Thank you for the questions. I love them. Keep them coming if you have any more.
As you sort of think about building out, are you planning to do more of your own stands and storefronts, or do you eventually want to find your way into Safeway and King Soopers and the local sets like that?
Potentially, I've shied away from that just from my prior experience with another business that I ran. It's really hard to get into wholesale or Whole Foods or any storefront. But I'm totally open to getting products in there. I just know that's a very extensive process and would love mentorship or guidance on how to go about doing that.
What do you feel right now you need mentorship guidance around most?
Business, books, fundraising.
Yeah.
My background's in IT, marketing, and video production. So I built out my own website, and we'll be doing videos for educational, like farming pro tips. So I have a little Rumble site where I do farming pro tips for people just to kind of like get an idea of who I am and some tips that they can try at home in their own backyard gardens.
Cool. Yeah, it seems like you have the creative side.
Yeah, got the creative bone in me.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
That helps me.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, that helps me hone in on who to try and make intros to.
Can you tell me just a little bit more about, this? Like, this is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, where this kind of fits either in your life or in connection to what you're
For
doing
sure.
now.
I would say that's a silver lining of 2020. I had lots of time. So I just got a bunch of downloads and drew and watercolor painted and wrote a bunch, and it's really just fostering the next generation of growers. Like, we each have our own unique gifts that we can give to one another, and whatever that seed looks like, someone else can come in and water, and someone else can be the sunshine, which is a really beautiful illustration of kind of who I am as a person, just passing it forward.
That's really great.
Thank you.
Have you encountered any problems yet, or do you foresee any problems having those 2 sites as far as they are? I've worked a lot with farmers that have multiple locations, and if you forget your favorite tool at one site, you're going to need to go back to the other.
Yes, that's a brilliant question, and I have thought about that quite a bit. So I'm working with other farmers and farming organizations. So essentially would want to build a community of farmers where they can house their own equipment on site and then work with them on what their farm business is in conjunction with the visions for grassroots farmers. So we'll be using Joel Silton's rotational grazing practices, if you're familiar with him. He's a genius. He's really cool. He's a good guy. Good farmer.
So you'll be bringing multiple farmers into these properties to work the land with you?
Yes. So we'll be building 2 1,000 square feet structures on the 6 acre property in April. And we'll be able to house anywhere between like 4 to 6 farmers seasonally. So working with the Veterans to Farmers down in Colorado Springs, they have a huge pain point is just land access for farmers, having land to actually like farm. So providing mentorship and land where they can actually like build out the beds and get the education that they would want to start up their own businesses. And completely open to seeing how organically that partnership develops, because those farmers can stay on site or choose to move to the 35-acre property and start their own farm business and start providing food back to the community, which is ideally would be like the amazing vision, long-term goal for those two properties.
So will you guys be funding that training and growth with those farmers, or will they be renting the space while growing?
Great question.
Give me a little bit of a sense of the model revenue-wise.
For sure. I'm working with Mile High Farmers right now on their grant team. And there's a handful of us from different organizations. A new one, I just talked to her this week. So it's Lions Community Food Project. Herself, myself, and then a few other Mile High farmers are coming together to go after larger grants. I can get you grant names because there's a lot that we have like hitting here very soon. So we're going to be utilizing that grant money to pay educators and to like buy seeds and other equipment that we might need on site. Did that answer your question well, or?
Yeah, the thing that I'm so curious about is the farmers that are coming in to use this property, are they on more of like a employee model, or are they coming in as like tenants renting the land and then?
Thank you for defining that. We'll have like a few different avenues. So there'll be like work shares where we provide actual food and stipends. There'll be opportunity for them to lease, and then there'll also be opportunity where it's just a community space to provide people to land access. So that will be part of our like educational area. I've also want to get a nonprofit up and going to focal on that side of things, so that people don't have to like lease land to be able to farm, just to make it more affordable and accessible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the question, everyone.
So I like where you have the book that starts to address kids, and I think that's awesome because I think they need to learn about agriculture, certainly sustainable and regenerative. Generally speaking, maybe I'll get in trouble on the internet, I don't know. I have historical that farmers can be a stubborn group. Do you have any plans in some of this mechanics that you have going on here to begin to address the broader agricultural community, or are you hoping just to do it through your own methodology?
Okay, I think there was a few questions there. Am I addressing
just
the
one. How
stubbornness
do
of
you plan
farmers
to
or the-
address
Okay.
maybe some of the larger farmers that maybe don't want to convert to?
Oh.
Is there a plan to try and educate with that group, or is it?
I'm really just open to receive anyone that's willing to do regenerative, sustainable agriculture. I'm not here to change anyone's minds, just kind of have people jump on board with the vision where we all have local food. Because right now, actually, that's a great, can I click over to the problem one? That's a good one. Or back, or forwards, my bad. One more time, I think that's it. To put it simple, like there's not enough farmers, big conglomerate, subsidizing agriculture has essentially failed us. There's an unstable, centralized food system, so like the more farmers, the better is the way that I see it, and that's where we really come in. The time now is to heal the earth's soil, and we can do that with more people, more hands, less work. We can go a lot further with collaboration.
It'd be awesome to have this in like the first 2 or 3 slides.
There's just a lot of information. I didn't want to like
Totally.
overwhelm people.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And for everyone on the internet again, we will take another 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to allow the judges to finish up their scoring. Yeah. And if anybody needs to run to the restroom, you don't have to raise your hand or hide or anything. You're free to do that. ready for our final pitch of this afternoon. If you're online, I think I saw in the comments it looks like we've been doing okay with the sound quality and how loud it is. I know Sage had to change some of the setup in the room here, but I think we're still doing well as far as the sound and video quality goes for the live stream. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Amber.
Hello, thank you for being here. My name is Dr. Amber Golshani, and as a naturopathic doctor, I know that when we give the body the right foods, it works better and we feel better. I make Dr. Amber's Fire Cider a folk remedy that I believe has the power to change our community's health through locally grown whole foods. After over 20 years in healthcare, I saw that many of my patients' health problems were a result of a lack of real plant-based foods in their diets. Instead, they're filling up on ultra-processed foods. 2018 studies showed that 57% of our daily calories were coming from these nutrient-devoid foods. For every 10% increase in these processed foods, there was a resulting 10% increase in cardiovascular disease. So it makes sense that we don't feel good because we're not getting the nutrients that our body needs to work well. And despite spending more on healthcare than any other industrialized nation, our rates of chronic disease continue to rise. So the solution seems pretty simple: eat more real food. But how do we do that? I'm so excited to be here and see the many venues that we have coming together to increase the access for people. The more plants that we eat, the better our health is, less cardiovascular disease, less overall mortality, and people want to feel well, as indicated by record-breaking herbal supplement sales of an increase of 17% in 2020. Dr. Amber's Fire Cider is one way that we can increase the plant-based foods in people's diets. Fire cider is a folk remedy of apple cider vinegar that is infused with healing herbs, fruits, and roots. In other words, it's real food that our bodies know how to utilize and know how to put to use to create better health. You can use it in a variety of ways. Some of my customers just love to take a straight shot of it. I like it diluted, or I make mocktails, which I have some samples to give out today, because I want to bridge that gap between food is medicine and medicine is food. We can enjoy it. You can also use it in any recipe that would call for vinegar. My bottle has 32 servings and retails for $29 with a cost of goods of $9. 75% of consumers said they're willing to pay extra for clean label ingredients. And in a $10 billion herbal supplement sales market, apple cider vinegar sales were the 5th highest growth category with an increase of 133%. So my product is unique because of my local focus. And what's more local than Pueblo chili? And then in addition, I am continuing to seek out partnerships, maybe I've made some here today, that will help me be 100% Colorado from farm to bottle. That is my goal. So currently I operate under the Colorado Cottage Food Act, which allows me to sell direct to consumer. So I've been using social media, my website, and then farmers markets and vendor events. My customers who are interested in local foods are showing up at these places, obviously. And this year I'm expanding my reach. Last year I was in Pueblo. This year I'll be going to Colorado Springs, Castle Rock, some other areas. Click. So I hit my goals in 2022, which is my first year in business, 600 units sold. This year, I hope to double that by partnering with some health professionals. I have other naturopathic doctors that want to carry my product, and then expanding my farmers market and vendor events along the Front Range. In 2024, my goal is to move into a commercial facility that will allow me to ship across state lines and utilize an e-commerce platform. Click. Thank you. So any money that is won here today will be used for my farmers market fees and vendor events and all the travel expenses that are associated with that as I expand across the Front Range. I am looking for mentorship in this whole scaling up process and connections for local ingredients, again, to fulfill my mission to be 100% Colorado proud. Thank you. I am on a mission to improve our community's health because when we feel better, we can do better. And my goal is really that we can all lift each other up. Thank you. If you want to go to the next slide. I was lucky enough to be selected to have CSU do a market analysis for me. So I've got some more data points here of my my target market. And if you go to the next slide, there's a lot of data points on there. But I did want to point out that the national apple cider market is almost $80 million. And in Colorado, with the target segments that we've identified, there's $9.6 million market available here. Thank you.
In referencing your number of units, are you referring to individual bottles or cases?
Bottles, yes. Mm-hmm.
Are you selling one specific product, or are there multiple, like, mixed?
Yes, I have 3 different varieties. They're all a little bit different, one more geared with some immune support using Colorado-grown elderberries. I've got a turmeric variety and then a dandelion variety.
I have a Colorado turmeric source if you need it.
Colorado turmeric?
And ginger.
Awesome. And ginger. Okay, perfect. Mission accomplished. Thank you. That's great.
Where, how are you making them right now?
I'm making them in my home under the Cottage Food Act, yes. Yep.
And your $9 COGS, is that an average or is that what?
That's an average. Yeah, the turmeric one tends to cost a little bit more, the dandelion one a little bit less. And right now I'm buying everything at retail. And again, I'm in that place where this is where I feel like I could really use mentorship as I scale up, hopefully being able to, and buying in more quantity, hopefully being able to bring the cost of goods down per bottle. Yeah.
I assume this isn't full-time for you right now?
No.
Is it, and then what's the plan? Is it, do you want it to be full-time?
Yes.
Do you want it to always be part-time? What's your...
Yes, I do. I want this to be full-time. I'm recently divorced, and so this is part of my plan for supporting myself and my family.
Cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing.
So with respect to you going into multiple farmers markets, how many markets are you doing now and how many would you plan to do once you...
Right. So last summer was my first summer. I was at the Pueblo farmers markets on Fridays, and I did really well there. I know this is mostly an education product because people don't know what fire cider is. So standing in front of people, I do really well. It's surprising. I'm not selling, known things, coffee and cookies. I am educating people and then giving samples, and they like it. This summer, I plan to be doing 3 farmers markets a week. 2 in Pueblo, 1 in Colorado Springs, and then I'm kind of iffy on another one in Colorado Springs. But that would be an average of 3 to 4 a week, and that's for this summer season, which is roughly June to October. As I figured out, this was my first winter, a little slower, as I'm not out in front of people. So part of what I'm working on is developing my website, the branding, again, that education, getting out there, explaining to people, how do I get in front of people in the winter to let them know what this is? Because this product especially is really good in the winter when our immune systems are down, people aren't eating as much fresh food. This is something that is especially useful during that time.
One more small question.
Yeah.
Have you networked then with some of the indoor farmers markets that happen in the winter, or that's what you need access to?
Yeah, I did 2 vendor events that were indoor vendor events, and those went pretty well too. I think there is just, again, I'm 11 months into this, and I've got a lot better idea of what I need to be doing in the winter to make my ends meet, and indoor vendor events is on my list. Yeah, and if you happen to know specific ones that might, with this kind of market, then I would love to take that information.
I know plenty, that's why I asked.
Okay, great, great, thank you.
What's the shelf life of your product?
It's about a year. It doesn't need to be refrigerated, it's shelf stable vinegar.
Who do you see as your competitors, and how does your price point compare?
Thank you. So there was like one big guy competitor that has gone out of business, and the market is sort of open right now. The next largest scale herbal distributor is selling a same size bottle for $24. Now this is like the very tip of the wave right now that's breaking. There are small herbalists all over the place making this, and they are charging like anywhere from $60 to $80 for the same size bottle that I'm doing. It's all over the place, and people are just selling it everywhere for any price.
What's the recommended daily dose? Like how many ounces are in that bottle?
It's a 16-ounce bottle, 32 servings, which is about a tablespoon, and that's what I recommend daily, a tablespoon.
So you get about a month out of that bottle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then I have some samples. Thank you. So this is my product, just so you can see what that looks like too. And I made some mocktails, and I probably have enough for everybody here too. I'll start everybody off with what I call the Pueblo Pina Colada. I'm using my turmeric gold fire cider with just a very simple pineapple and coconut juice, 100% juice.
In the markets that you're at, are you seeing a lot of customers come back to you at the farmers market to repurchase?
Yeah, I am. It's so exciting to me. I send, on my email list, I say I'm going to be at this event, this event, this event, and people will specifically come to the event to see me to buy more products. And I've had people, I'm thinking of one guy in October, and he said, well, I'm stocking up, and he bought 4 bottles from me that day because I had met him a month prior at another event, and he just wanted to make sure that he had enough.
Are you selling online yet, or is that, you said you're working on your website?
I do. My website is up and running, so people can place their orders on the website. But because of the limitations of the Cottage Food Act, I'm pretty much just meeting people to like deliver it or drop it off. I can ship in Colorado. I can't sell across state lines. I can ship in Colorado, but that's part of the next piece I need to figure out too. These are glass bottles. I really want to have products that are the glass instead of plastic, and just shipping glass is expensive, it's heavy, it's liquid, so that's a piece I'm trying to figure out right now too.
Gotcha.
But I do get some sales through my website, mostly people that already know me or met me at the farmer's market.
So do you, in the different flavors, do you differentiate? Maybe they do. What do you differentiate the functionality of it? Like, a lot of supplement brands will go and say like, turmeric is good for inflammation, and dandelion is good for addressing.
Right.
Do you do that on the website, or do you do that for? Okay.
Yes, I do, and obviously when I'm in front of people, I do that as well.
Okay.
I am just more careful, especially under Cottage Food Act, about my label, what I'm able to say on labels. This product is considered a food product, but as you all probably know, it's not a supplement. It's a food, but it's a functional food, and what for me, it's not quite clear yet, like what you're allowed to say on a food label, as far as claims that may be made. So right now, I'm not making any claims, and that was based on the advice I had from someone at Whole Foods.
What gets you on the other side of that? What gets you from like being protected under the Cottage Food Act to I'm a brand, I'm established? What do you need?
Well, a commissary kitchen, which of course has different standards than what I can do in my home kitchen. that will allow me to open up. I'm not even allowed to say this is a 16-ounce product under Cottage Food Act, even though it's a 16-ounce bottle that I'm filling to the top. There's just all the restrictions that has.
Is money the biggest obstacle there? Is it time? Is it what is?
To moving to a commissary kitchen, yeah, money.
What's that cost?
Well, the one place I've scoped out is it's $100 a day, and I would probably need about 4 days a week. And going through this winter, I need a little bit more consistent sales in order to make that workable for me. Because this is a consumer packaged good product, I'm spending a lot of money to make it, and then I've got cases sitting in my kitchen of cash that I'm waiting to sell. So it's a little bit of, I got to put the money up front before that can, yeah.
Just once you build the website and you start shipping this across state lines, that's when your waters will get muddied between FDA and cottage food and all that stuff. So
yeah.
Be careful when you start to do that stuff. I don't see anything here that I would run around with my hair on fire about, but I'm just saying, like, that's often what gets people in cottage food is that differentiation between, now I'm D2C and I'm shipping to Maine. That is literally the FDA standpoint of, well, now you've crossed the state line, now you're my jurisdiction.
Yeah,
so,
cottage food we're not supposed to sell across state line.
Right, and that's,
if you go on Etsy, there are people doing it and charging $80 for a bottle this size. Yeah, but I'm not playing that game.
This is definitely like some of the sort of like the issues on the business side of things that like Fuel Kitchens wants to address, so that we can have a space where makers are able to come into a licensed facility and not just use the space at a price that would be based on what you were talking about, your costs at 16 days a week, more affordable than that, but would be a place where we would be able to offer mentorship and direction around what it takes to get your label and all of that within FDA regulations and get you licensed. So
Beautiful.
I just said, like, let's talk about everything.
Yeah, yeah, great. I know that the Fuel and Iron Project, there's also, I think the RMSER wants to be putting in a new kitchen too. So I know there's a lot of options. It's just, I'm in that, a little bit of, I feel like a catch-22 spot where I need to, if I could sell across state lines, it would increase my revenue, which could get me to the commissary kitchen, but I have to get into commissary kitchen before I can sell across state lines.
Have you thought about pitching this idea to PE firms or local VCs or any of that?
No, I haven't.
Help. I mean, because here's the thing, especially when you have something like this, that one day you'll be sitting there and I need a 3,000 bottle order. The next day it'll be, I need a $30,000 bottle order.
Yeah.
Is that because it's supplements like these that generally out of nowhere take off on you? Is that something that you started to mentally prepare for, or started to talk to? I always say to be 2 to 4 years ahead of when you think you're going to need them.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, that's great advice. I have not started thinking that far ahead. So yeah, there's some, it's that I'm in that scaling up mindset, and this is my first, you know, I've run other businesses before, but all service. So getting into this goods is a new area for me, and hopefully what I'll be able to get here, part of what I'm asking for is that guidance, like think 2 to 4 years ahead, where do I want to be? And yeah, when I get an order, like this also, it takes a month to prepare. So I
need your fermentation
to,
cycle is. So.
Yep, I can't just like go home tonight and make a whole bunch more. So this winter was just a slow winter, making more fire cider in the kitchen, getting it all stocked up so it'll be ready for the summer.
All right, well,
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we are at time. Thank you so much, Dr. Amber.
Yeah, thank you. I have more mocktails, and I have a Bloody Mary that I use JoJo's Sriracha in. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so our judges are gonna finish up with their scores here. And as far as the next order of operation goes, we will, Sarah, Christine, and myself will take a step out of the room, tally the scores up come back in with the announcement of the prize winners. In the meantime, I am going to give JoJo some time to talk about what's been going on as far as our accelerator program that we call the Pueblo Food Project Entrepreneurship Development Program, as well as the work with the Fuel Kitchen and the upcoming commissary. And I also can allocate some time to Dr. Wakefield and any of his team to talk about the SoCo Entrepreneurship Competition, if you'd so like. So we'll take a few minutes to finish these up and then allow them to speak while we step out of the room.
Yeah, but if you finish the 2 that I gave you for free in your room, go down to the taste room, tell them you're staying here, and someone feeds you free beer. I'm like, food project. I mean, I'm not afraid to find out.
JoJo has the floor now.
Hello again, everyone. My name's Jolene, and again, most people know me as JoJo from JoJo's Sriracha. I wear a handful of hats in this community, and one of them that I wanted to talk about was the educational component. So I've been with Pueblo Food Project since its beginning, when it was just a tour of 60 people that wanted to figure out what were the issues going on in food in Pueblo and what are ways that we could organize and deal with them. And so the Pueblo Food Project's Entrepreneur Development Program is in its second year, and this was really inspired, to be quite honest, in my living room when I was thinking about what is some of the programming that food entrepreneurs need in Pueblo. And I thought back to a semester-style 16-week course that I took in Brooklyn while I was getting JoJo's Sriracha started, and it was the best $275 I've ever spent in business. The course was organized over 16 weeks, where each week we had an expert from our community, typically somebody who had graduated the program before, to talk to us about the concept, soup to nuts, to get you to a business plan for your business. One of the misconceptions that we learned in Pueblo for food entrepreneurs is that there was no lack of resources here to start food businesses. What was lacking was an ecosystem where we could actually connect those resources. So that's what the entrepreneur program is doing. We're in our second year, we've got 10 entrepreneurs, and it's just really amazing to see them doing real things in the community, and we hope that we can continue that program in the future. Putting on my other hat, I want to talk about the commissary kitchen that I mentioned a couple times, which is the second project from Fuel and Iron. So if you have met Nathan and or Zach, they are real estate brokers out of Denver who love Pueblo and are investing lots of their time and money into this community to create a landscape where if you want to have a career in food and culinary arts, you should be able to do that. We'd also like to see Pueblo as the best place in Colorado to start a food business. What Pueblo has been lacking for a long time is a true scaled high enough commercial commissary kitchen that makers can use. And I think that Amber's presentation was a really great segue just to look at some of the issues that makers are facing in terms of what they need on the production side. So Nathan and Zach actually found the facility by way of looking for a space for a brewer. They came across what's the existing Colorado cold storage facility. It's a 20,000 square foot facility that has everything that you want in a commissary kitchen except the kitchen. So it's got 6,000 square feet of freezer space, 4,500 square feet of, 5,000 square feet of dry storage. It's got 5,000 square feet of refrigeration walk-on that we can turn on in phases when the kitchen opens. And then it's got 4,500 square feet of existing office space. That's where we're gonna make the kitchen. So the kitchen's gonna be remodeled in 2 phases. Phase 1, which you see here in the renderings, is approximately 3,000 square feet. We've got a baking kitchen on the right, our main production kitchen on the left-hand side, and then you can see to the back dish prep area. So we're really looking to have a space that's based off of a membership model where members can come in, use the kitchen as they need to, and we have some really great software that they can use as far as sharing a kitchen space. If you've ever shared a kitchen space, it can be kind of chaotic. And so we're looking to really work on some of those logistics to make it smooth and easy for makers to come in and use the space or rent out specialized equipment. Speaking of equipment, there's a couple of things that I think is really going to distinguish the space beyond just the ability to store frozen, cold, and dry product here, and that's our equipment list. So we're building our equipment list in conjunction with the needs of the community, starting with existing food businesses and then listening to ideas that are coming along so that we can have what I would consider, in my experience in commissary shared kitchens, a really robust equipment list, like steam kettles, tilt skillets, large blenders, and then we're also looking at piston fillers and things that would be useful that we can have CPGs, things in jars, green chilies, and stuff like that. So we're really trying to find ways that we can help scale production for the makers based on what kind of products they're making, and then what equipment we can bring in to help them grow their product numbers for each day that they're in the kitchen. One of the other things that I'm hoping to really distinguish this space is the stuff that we're going to do outside of the kitchen. Every time I've gone into a commissary kitchen, all I do is use the kitchen and pay someone for my time. We want to be more integrated both with our makers in the kitchen as well as integrated into our community and ecosystem of food, both in Pueblo and Colorado and regionally. So one of the things that I hold near and dear to my heart is that mentorship is a part of my title. And so we don't want you to just come in and use the kitchen and leave unless that's what you want to do. We would rather have conversations about what are you making? Where are you sourcing your produce? Are there ways that we can find economies of scale to source produce from our local farmers? Are there ways that we can buy jars if we're all using the same size? things like that to try and figure out not only for each maker, but as we get more makers in the kitchen, just the power of the collaborative. So we're really approaching this with a collaborative spirit to help grow the food products that are coming out of Pueblo. And I'm just super excited to see this come into fruition. Any questions? Yes?
So will this be on a monthly recurring membership?
Yeah, so it's going to be a membership model. Yep, exactly. Yep, where you would have 24-hour access to the kitchen. You'd also get some storage included with that membership, shipping and receiving, things like that. So I think lots of benefits. And then if you need extra services or storage, you can pay additionally on top of that. Yes, Amber. Yeah.
When are you opening?
So construction's supposed to start in about the next 2 weeks, and they're saying about 3 months. I don't think anybody ever believes a construction deadline, but I'd love to see the kitchen up sometime this summer, and obviously we can keep you posted on that as we actually start to break ground.
Yeah, that was my question.
That was your question? Yeah, so we really want everybody to know about what we're doing. So if you are connected with people that are producing food, need a facility, please let them know. Fuel Kitchen would be happy to share some cards. I'd be the main point person for talking with makers, and we want to be a good partner in this ecosystem of food production. And then I was supposed to see, did you want to talk about the SoCo Entrepreneur Competition? Sure. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, welcome. I'm just so impressed with all the pitches today. I really, truly, it was inspiring. And my name's Kurt Maddock, and
I'm Mike Wakefield, Professor of Management at CSU Pueblo.
And so about 10 years ago, I was watching Shark Tank with my kids, and I was like, you know what, we need to do something in Pueblo, because we're just not, we can't keep recruiting the same manufacturing jobs over and over again. So I said, Dr. Wakefield, let's get together, let's put a local Shark Tank together. We'll have a student competition and an adult competition. Let's inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs and help create jobs for the kids that are coming out of school, and people in the community that have a great idea, like some of the ideas we saw today. And let's do something and create jobs. So this is our 9th annual this year because of COVID, but it would have been 10. And this year it's April 28th and 29th. So the student edition, we have Jake Jabs has been our one of our big judges every year. And then the adults is on April 29th at Wake Up Pueblo. And so,
sure. So the student competition on April 28th, we distribute about $7,000 in prizes there. We distributed $14,000 to both competitions last year. The top prize for the student competition is a $4,000 scholarship to HSB, payable over 4 years. We're trying to increase that. Our goal next year is to expand it, have an entire entrepreneurship week, and have one night devoted just to collegiate entrepreneurship. We would love for any of the competitors today to participate in our adult competition April 29th that will be held at Wake Up Pueblo. Again, it's held as Shark Tank style. We have prizes that we deliver in cash and in-kind contributions, so things like legal fees, accounting fees from different sponsors. And whatever deal you might make with our sharks, our local sharks, they're not as big as sharks. They're more like bass, yes, or walleye or something. But for any deal that you might be able to make with any of those individuals, some of them are interested in mentorship kinds of opportunities too. So we'd love for you to participate in that. I also have courses. Even though I'm a professor of management, my true love is entrepreneurship. I have about 4 different courses that we offer. We take on live clients, and we have different projects. So one is consulting. So if you're a small business or you don't have to be a for-profit. We love nonprofits too. We'll help you with whatever it is that you need. If you want to help searching for grants, if you're looking for marketing, human resource manuals, we've done a variety of things. One year we even did a survey instrument for local sidewalks for City of Pueblo. And that was probably one of the more fascinating projects that we've ever worked on. So we had students that actually worked with people who were challenged visually or used a wheelchair, and the things that they encountered when they went on sidewalks. So we were able to incorporate that in the project. It was really fascinating. So I've talked way too much. Do you have any more?
No, do you guys have any questions for us?
So thank you. We hope to see some of you. Yes.
I was just saying, we'd love to be involved.
Yeah, we'd love to have you as a
Great.
judge. Anybody
Absolutely.
that wants to do it.
So yeah, I only have one more card left. Thank you.
But there's a bunch of info here.
Yeah, and so you can contact us through those too. So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to the contestants.
This happy hour on a Friday, on St. Patty's on a Friday. Irish man.
sit for another presentation now.
I love it. I was like, I feel like it's been a while. So I should have a new I think he works for Colorado.
Sorry.
So this is temperature.
Huh? Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for being patient waiting. I hope everybody had time to mingle and network and learn a little bit more about each other while we ran downstairs to tally up the scores. So, all right, well, we're right on time. So, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that we have some money to give away. The bad news is that we have to end this event and we won't get to do it again for another year. So, what I want to say is thank you first and foremost to all of the participants. Thank you to our judges for being here today. And thank you again to our sponsors, Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, Colorado Department of Agriculture, and Brylac Law. We had a very close decision. It was within a few points. So we decided to add an honorable mention. And I am proud to award that to somebody who's not in the room right now. So we'll go on with it and wait for her, I guess. But that goes to Shay for $250.
None of you saw that happen. Oh my God.
Okay. It's over.
All right. And for third place with $750, we have Grassroots Farmers.
Thank you so much.
Massive.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Should I take it?
Well, we're going to give it back to you at the
I
end.
take it back.
Okay.
And in second place, for $1,000, we have La Tiendita. Great job.
Awesome. Okay, I guess we're keeping this. But you'll get back.
So, should be clear who was in first place. Dr. Amber with $2,500.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, just by a quick show of hands here, who is sticking around for the dinner and gala? Awesome. So we will get to do this again in just a little bit of time and actually recognize the award winners during the dinner ceremony. Thank you again for being here today. That concludes our program, and we still have some time to hang out, meet and greet. The doors will open in about 15 minutes for the dinner. And other than that, again, thank you so much for being part of this and helping us out today.
I just say one thing. Having been a part of the first one, a big shout out to you and your team for what was done here, and to your all winners. There was a lot of heart on all of those, and you should be damn proud of yourselves. So the work that's been done.